with mom and dad. For me in particular, I had the privilege of being his right-hand man for 7 years and spending thousands of hours with Michael, whether at the house, in the office, at Starbucks, or on the road touring real estate deals. Throughout these years, he was a role model father figure, businessman and community leader to me. Unfortunately, I didn't have the honor to meet Rabbi Stavsky, but I know Michael and him shared a tremendous father-in-law, son-in-law relationship and conquered various community tasks together. In the same vein, I believe Michael took me in as a true son, and we shared a very similar bond. He confided in me as I did with him, and we navigated situations together, whether family or business related, in what I considered a great duet. Even though I was green going into real estate, Michael always listened to my thoughts and treated me as having an equal voice around the table. Our relationship certainly grew deeper and deeper through the years, and our thought process in just about all matters aligned. Wherever there were differences in our viewpoints, we talked it out in a mutually respectful and loving manner. Michael, as we all know, loved business, and I saw firsthand the respect every person he interacted with had for him. He loved the hunt of the deal, and some of my best memories are on the road with Michael, since I knew it brought him such joy, and he always enjoyed a good meal at Ducky's. Our most recent real estate property is one that he toured, in which he was able to negotiate the purchase contract with the seller. And I know he would love to be here to participate in the upcoming deal closing, but I know he's looking down, rooting for me and the whole family as we finalize the transaction, but I certainly feel the void. Michael believed fundamentally that actions speak louder than words, and always valued actually demonstrating through action to carry out whatever said task might be at hand. Pirkei Avos shares, "B'makom she'ein anashim hishtadel lihios ish." In a place where there's no leader, strive to be a leader. He was that leader for his family and in business, but an area that also meant so much for him was his community of Columbus, Ohio. The shul, the school, and kollel were always the trifecta and central part of his life, and he served as the president of all three organizations. But much more importantly, like Michael always did, he rolled up his sleeves and was at the forefront. He was instrumental in founding the kollel, a concept that never existed in Columbus, and in starting the Columbus Torah Academy High School for Tuli's freshman year, and always being an ongoing strong supporter of Beth Jacob and a pillar to any rabbi at the charge of the congregation. When something needed to be done, he did it, period. All these things were the bedrock for Michael, and even though he was sick, he still persevered as if it was business as usual. He did not do any of these tasks seeking attention or looking to be in the spotlight or get credit, but rather in a totally selfless way. For example, 7 years ago, when Minna and I moved to town, Michael and Chanita created a program known as Beth Jacob Thrives, which is an initiative to incentivize young couples to move to Columbus. He started the program a handful of months after his major Whipple surgery. It was at a time during which he could have stayed back and everyone would have certainly understood. But as always, he stepped up even in his darkest moments to fight and to help the shul grow, but also help Minna and I have friends in Columbus. Michael had the vision, and Baruch Hashem, the shul and community have grown nicely, especially in the past 6 years. A similar story is in reference to the school, Columbus Torah Academy. A year ago or so, all the young couples gathered in his house at 2525 Stafford in order to discuss what he believed was an important task in aiding the community's growth, splitting the high school into a gender-separate educational institution. His local grandchildren, my children, are all at least 12 years away from entering high school, but nonetheless, to help the community grow, he made sure to give chizuk to the young leaders in the community. He had a special way of connecting with all age groups, young to old. Our friends in Columbus viewed Michael as a role model, and moreover, someone who was extremely approachable and who they shared their personal stories and hurdles with in order to gain his insight. I could go on with countless other stories, but as Michael would say, the bottom line is, where he saw a void, he jumped in. He had a passion and appreciation for the importance of the cause he was fighting for. The truly remarkable thing is that even while he was sick, he did everything like nothing had ever happened and persevered. As Tuli shared the funeral and during Shiva, not once until the final days did Michael ever share his true pain level and never let people know how much he was physically suffering. He was never looking for pity or compassion or any sort, and never walked around wearing his cancer on his sleeve. He was the true epitome of a selfless individual, as everything he did was either for his community or his family. Michael was in a position where he did not need to work over the past 7 years, but beyond the enjoyment he got from working, he wanted to continue sharing his wisdom to help maintain the growth of the community and family financially. I would be remiss if I did not mention the trailblazing cheerleading that Hanita demonstrated every last second of the past 7 years. Her mantra was, "Where focus goes, energy flows," as once shared by Tony Robbins. To get what you really want, you need to have a clear goal and purpose, and she very much did. Her partnership, long-lasting love, and commitment to leaving no rock unturned and remaining positive throughout some of the darkest times was and will always be an inspiration to all. As much as Michael was a rock for the family, rocks depend on other supporting rocks to support each other, and their bond is an unbreakable one. On a last note, there's a nice connection from last week's Parsha between Meir Yitzchak and Yitzchak Avinu. The Parsha discusses the wells Yitzchak had to redig in order to reclaim them since the Plishtim were closing them up. Yitzchak put a lot of effort into maintaining and protecting the wells of his father as a way of perpetuating his father's legacy. In Michael's life, that was extremely pertinent, as many of us know the story of his father, Papa George, on the walks to shul as a young kid, instilling in Michael and his sister Linda the importance of keeping Shabbos and Jewish education, and also his strong connection with Rabbi Stavsky and ensuring the Beth Jacob he built would continue to thrive. Michael ensured that was more than accomplished throughout his lifetime, and now it is our responsibility to continue to carry on all the values and life lessons we've learned from Michael for generations to come.